everyone, I thought I would do a confidence reboot today, and the reason I'm doing this is I did a series of videos I think towards the end of last year, but confidence is something that comes up in virtually every coaching conversation that I have, whether that's about career, moving into a new role, leadership, and sometimes we veer into all sorts of other areas of life. Sometimes it's about relationships. Confidence is something that always comes up. And I feel the way I think about confidence is, so confidence, you'll be glad to know, is a skill, it's an ability that you can build within you. So it's very different to self-esteem, because self-esteem is very, very deeply, both are deeply internal, self-esteem and self-confidence, but they are different. They are different. So self-esteem means that we really appreciate and value ourselves, and self-esteem is very much dependent on life experiences and interactions with other people, whereas confidence, they do overlap somewhere, but self-confidence is really about your belief in your skills and abilities, so that can like ebb and flow a bit. So confidence is much more of a skill or a basic belief in our abilities to do something. Self-esteem is much more about how we value ourselves and appreciate ourselves and think about ourselves as an entire person. And when we feel confident, we feel very much in the flow. We know that there's certain things that we're good at. So I'm sure there are certain things you're good at. And what happens is when you start to build a baseline of confidence, that sort of tends to move into other areas. So I've worked with people on their careers, and it's had a knock-on effect because we've built confidence skills, communication skills, but you know, that confidence and the confidence of having seen the results of the goals we've set and the skills of the abilities of the individual to sort of make progress, that has a knock-on effect into other areas of their life. So it's really interesting to see that. And you can build a baseline of self-confidence because, let's face it, things in life happen. You know, life throws things at us. We can have all the skills, all the plans in the world, but sometimes life just throws things at us and we have to be able to deal with them. Now, the way that we deal with them, it goes up, it goes down, depending on the challenge. We're not robots, unless you're just sitting there not doing anything with your life. But really, I think about it like stabilizers on a ship. You know, if you've got a large ship in the ocean, it has two, well, maybe more than two, but the boat rocks in the waves, the ship rocks in the waves, but it has sort of these stabilizers that keep it steady. So even though, for example, say your relationship's ended and you're feeling like your confidence has been knocked, it doesn't mean it's gone. And somewhere within you, you may feel, do you know what, I still feel that I'm a confident person. I still value myself as a person. This is just a situation that's not so good. Similarly, in your career, we can have knockbacks. But when we have a baseline of confidence, it can really help stabilise us. It doesn't mean we won't feel a bit wobbly with what's happening, but it kind of stabilises us. We're not completely derailed. Now, often if we don't feel confident, it's perhaps because our primary caregivers, like our parents, they weren't very confident themselves and they passed that on to us, and maybe they said things about us, oh, you know, well, you're not very good at that, are you? You're not very good at maths. And we take that on and we believe it, and that may not be true. It's just something that somebody said once. But the trouble is, and again, this is a big area of the coaching that I do, we have to look at those beliefs and investigate them to say, well, is that really true? Because sometimes people just say things, you know, they don't even think about it, they'll just say something. And when we're younger, we're like sponges, we take everything on that people say to us. So maybe, you know, your parents or a teacher said something to you once, and that's led you to a belief that you can't master that particular facet of your life or that skill in your life. It may not be your favourite thing to do, for example, the maths example, but you might be able to master maths well enough to do what you need to do in your life. So sometimes these things can dent our confidence, plus experiences, particularly, you know, if you've been through some form of abuse or something, that's likely to affect not just your self-confidence, but your self-esteem as well. And really, it's a self-esteem that is really fundamental, our own feelings of our own self-worth, and then from there we can build on our confidence. But the two overlap, but they are slightly different. And it happens to everyone. It happens to everyone because, especially at the moment, you know, life's going up and down like a yo-yo. And, you know, the trick is really to nip it in the bud and acquire some skills to help you build it up. Because, you know, if you look at all the rich and famous people in the world, they've had knockbacks. But I'm sure underneath it all, they've got a level of confidence, some more than others. And again, you might have heard the phrase with confidence about fake it till you make it. I'm not actually a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of trying to sort of visualise and picture where you've been confident before and where you can bring that to your current situation. I'm a big fan of like visualising, like I'm feeling really confident, what does that look like? Or thinking about somebody else who's confident and what they do. So I'm more of a fan of beg, borrow, steal rather than fake it till you make it. I would say as act as if you're confident, because faking just sounds a bit too fakey to me. So what you can do is actually, if you're sort of questioning self-confidence at the moment, give yourself a mark out of 10, 1 being low, 10 being high. How confident do you feel in your life at this moment in time? You don't have to do that right now. Or what you can do is draw a circle with different areas of your life, like friends, family, home, health, fitness, spirituality, career, wealth, and write down those different areas of your life and think about, well, how do I feel of a scale from 1 to 10? 1 being I'm not feeling very confident, 10 being I'm feeling very confident. And look at where you do feel confident, what you're doing, what you're saying, what's creating that confidence, you know, and see if that's something that you can apply to another area of your life. Now, I have got a confidence audit. It's free. It's like a quiz. It takes 5 minutes. So if you want a copy of that tool, then please just drop me a direct message and get in touch. So we can have a look at our overall confidence, and we can set a confidence goal or confidence goals. And I'm going to come on to that in a bit, things that we can reach to move ourselves forward. And just to remind you, confidence is about our belief that we can develop the skills and the attributes needed for the success that we want. Okay, so yeah, let's get into it. So I've already given you the idea of scoring where you feel confident in different areas of your life, scoring it from a 1 to a 10. And I've mentioned I've got 5, it takes about 5 minutes. It's a very simple yes or no quiz about confidence. So if you want a free copy of that, then please get in touch, drop me a message. But in terms of confidence, let's look at a few things we can do to build our confidence, okay? And I've used these on clients because, as I said, it comes up all the time. You know, I was coaching a lady last week that was saying, do you know what, Sarah? I'm okay in my career. I just need my confidence rebuilding because I've stopped asking questions. And it's stifling my development in my career because my last boss was saying, you're asking too many questions. You know, her last boss didn't actually sound like a great leader, really. It sounded like he put her down a lot. And that's had a knock-on effect. So we're rebuilding her confidence as we speak. So it can ebb and flow. So focus on your favourite attribute. What is it you really like about yourself? Maybe you can find more than one. Maybe you're a good listener. Maybe you're good at organising. Maybe you've got a great smile. But everybody has got a great attribute. And think about the things that your friends say about you. Nice things, obviously. And really appreciate it as your superpower. If you don't know what your greatest attribute is or what people value you for, then ask a friend and then really stand in that and own it and sort of say, do you know what, I am a great listener, and really think about that attribute and how you feel when you're expressing that attribute, the impact it has on other people as well. The other piece we can do is write down, you know, and by the way, you can have more than one superpower. So yeah, we don't all have to be like in the films where everybody's got one set superpower. We can have more than one, I promise. Write down 3 things you're grateful for in your day. What went really, really well? Because when we focus on what we're grateful for, we're not focusing on what we're lacking. We can look at those and we can look at them on a piece of paper. It's great to write them down, you know, or just ask yourself before you go to bed, you know, if you haven't got time to write it down. The more that what we focus on we're good at, the more of that we tend to get, and it changes our perspective on lives. For example, can you imagine going into a party and thinking, party, that would be nice, wouldn't it? But anyway, going to a party in the good old days and saying, I'm not going to enjoy myself, I'm not going to like it. Now, I've tried it, I've experimented with this, I've gone in with a disempowering mindset, and then I've gone into a situation going, do you know what, I don't know anyone, but I'm going to really enjoy it. And guess what I focus on grows. So if we focus on gratitude, you know, the chances are we can shift our perspective and attract more of what we want. The other thing that I find really, if your confidence is at a bit of a low ebb, excuse me, another great way to build confidence is to help another person. When we do that, it takes us out of ourselves, that we can feel proud about what we're doing for somebody else. And it doesn't have to be big. It can be, I don't know, opening the door for someone, smiling at someone, helping a colleague with a project at work, mentoring someone, working at a food bank. It can be big, it can be small, you know, and it just helps us to feel good. You know, not only are we helping that other person, but we're helping ourselves, because it has a payback for us, you know. So helping somebody else is a really good way to build our confidence, feel proud about ourselves, what we're achieving, and quite frankly, to get out of our own heads, which we probably all need to do at the moment in lockdown. It's too easy to get stuck in here, isn't it? And I think, as I mentioned, just going on to this a bit further at the beginning, and I put a little story, a little quote on Facebook and Instagram today, because it's something I'm really passionate about. We need to learn how to ride the waves of life, because events, we can have goals, we can have plans. Having a healthy, positive perspective is great, but sometimes things don't go to plan, and we have to learn how to ride the waves up and down, okay? And it's about when things aren't going so well, not sort of getting... We all have moments where we just want to sit, let it all out, let the stress out, cry. And I absolutely believe in that. I think suppressing how you feel is the worst thing you can do. However you decompress it, speaking to someone, crying, watching a film, just having a lay-in, that's absolutely fine. I really don't believe in trying to distract ourselves with hyper positivity, because when we feel like that, these techniques like affirmations, meditation, they're not going to work, because there's going to be a resistance, because we know, do you know what, I'm just feeling a bit crappy at the moment. So we have to ride those waves up and down, and you will come out of those troughs. You will, if you sit there and if you're patient with yourself and you ask yourself, what's going on with me, what am I feeling, and just treat that feeling as a piece of information. Don't judge it, because we're all having ups and downs at the moment. So ride the wave of life. Stephen, I really like that picture. You look like one of the Musketeers. Sorry, that was a bit of a distraction there. Nice to see you. Anyway, nice to see you all, by the way. Thank you for joining. So remind yourself that these ups and downs are waves in the ocean. And if you've got a big inflatable beach ball and you're trying to push it down, the waves are going to push it up. These are our feelings. Your feelings are a beach ball. So there are times when you're riding high, it's like being on the crest of a beautiful wave. And then sometimes it's just life, it comes down a little bit. But just to remember that life is cyclical. It is like that. If you're going down a little bit, try not to stay there too long. Don't suppress what you're feeling, but kind of come back up and remember those gratitude thoughts that I've mentioned before, the attributes. Maybe have a picture of the ocean to remind yourself of this. Do you know what? Maybe my confidence is a little bit dented, but I believe in my skills and abilities to pick myself up, because these events aren't about you. It's just about sometimes what's going on outside of us, and as we know, we can't always control that, especially at the moment. The other thing you can do is to maybe get out of your way, go out of your comfort zone. And you can still do that even if we're in lockdown. Perhaps you can sign up for a workshop, or, sign up for Toastmasters about public speaking, or join an online group, or go to an online concert on your own, something like that. Or, challenge yourself to some exercise or some running, or whatever it may be, getting a dog, I don't know, whatever it may be that will help you build your skills. So when we take a chance and get positive results, it proves that we are capable of doing new things. So I remember, it might sound a bit funny, but a couple of years ago I went to Centre Parks, and they have these platforms where you can jump off, like They're not massively high. I think they're about 10 metres, maybe 15, 20. And one of them, you know, there's ones where you've got a rope on you and you just jump off, another one where you swing, another one where you jump off and grasp something. Now, I've never done anything like that, and it really was like, oh, it's just not my thing. You know, jumping off of things is not my thing. I was far used to scuba diving to crazy depths. Comfortable with that. Heights completely different. I don't get vertigo or anything like that. It's just not my favourite thing to do. But I thought, do you know what? I'm going to push myself here, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the feeling of, do you know what? This isn't going to be a hobby that I take up, but I've proved I can do it. I've pushed myself out of my comfort zone, and I felt better afterwards. So maybe there is a hobby you can do at the moment. Maybe there is something, I don't know, bell ringing, who knows, that will get you out of your comfort zone. But don't let that fear of discomfort put you off. Take the risks, try different things, because I've just found by trying different things, doing new activities, it really builds my confidence. What we can also do to add a positive outlook is think about a cause. Is there something you're really passionate about? You know, are you connected to a particular cause? Is there something in your life that you feel is really important to you, like your vision or your mission? Is there something that gives you an honourable purpose? You know, for example, is it, do you know what? I feel really passionate about listening to people and helping people. So is there a cause or an organisation that you can associate yourself with that does that? There's lots of those things at the minute. I think ITV have got Give a Minute, you know, those kinds of things. Or, you know, I'm really passionate about, you know, I really believe in the NHS and I want to help the NHS. Is there something that you can do? Or I'm passionate about young children. Could there be some volunteering or mentoring you can do? Or I'm really passionate about, whatever it could be. It could be something in your career. You know, I'm really passionate about, you know, corporate responsibility, giving back as a company. Can you get involved with things like that? I'm really passionate about diversity and inclusion. Is there a cause you could belong to, or a group at work that's really pushing that forward? I'm sure there's lots of other causes. You know, it could be a religious cause, a spiritual cause. Just think about something that's like, do you know what? I find myself really drawn to that. Or there's something that's happened to me and I feel really drawn to helping people with that same issue. I'm sure you can all think of something that you could really add value to. Another way to develop confidence, just keep getting up. I know I've talked about the waves before, but don't let a setback define you, because you're not a setback. You are a unique, complex individual. We all are. We're all individual. We're all unique. Tenacity, having the tenacity to, I mean, it's different. If you've got a goal that you thought was really important and it's not of interest to you anymore, I don't believe in just sort of doing things we don't want to do, because we're not likely to achieve our goals. But just get up, try and get up from the waves. Yes, don't suppress the feelings, but think about, what can I learn? What could I do differently? Perhaps there's a new skill you could acquire, okay? And don't let perfectionism stop you from trying. Again, this is something that really, really comes up a lot in coaching. People that feel the need to be perfect. And again, as I mentioned at the beginning about where lack of confidence can come from, I talked about families, friends, teachers, things that were said to us, or something we've inherited from our family. Perfection is the enemy of success, because when we want everything to be perfect, we become hooked on that. And it stops us from trying, or it gets in the way of us trying, because it has to be perfect, and nothing's ever perfect. And perfect one day is imperfect the next, and perfect is so subjective. Do the best that you can. If you know you've done the best that you can, whether it's your best in your work, your career, your best in a relationship, if you're able to sort of look back, if you were to look back, could you say, do you know what? I really gave that my best shot. I learned everything I could. I handled myself with grace and serenity. I think those are really important words as well. Things may not go according to plan, but really living up to your values. Have a look back and think, did I do the best that I could? You know, so give everything your best shot, but don't get hung up with perfectionism, because I've seen it before and it holds people back. And sometimes it does come from things that were said to us when we were younger, okay? The other piece is about looking the part. So I know for some of us working at home is great. Maybe you want to wear your joggers and stuff. For me, it doesn't work like that. For me, I mean, I'm self-employed anyway. I work at home anyway. I'm just doing a lot more of it at the moment because of the current situation. But I get up, I get dressed, I wear what I would do if I was in an office, I do my hair, I even spray perfume, which is ridiculous because nobody's going to smell it, but I can, you know, it makes me feel good, you know, and that really helps build that confidence on the inside. It helps me to feel even more assured because I know I've made the effort for myself. And look at your body language, the way that you speak. There's a really good lady on, she's on YouTube, online, everywhere. She's called Amy Cuddy, and she talks about the power pose. So can you imagine being hunched over and like this and talking like this? You know, I can feel my breathing's different. I immediately feel different. Whereas if I pull my shoulders back and have a straight body posture, I just feel more empowered. I'm getting better breaths and things like that. Amy Cuddy talks about the power pose, that if you're not feeling so confident at the moment, stand up, put your hands on your hips, really straighten your back, and just do that for a few moments to reboot your confidence. So that's Amy Cuddy. She's got a lot of that body-mind connection and confidence online. So have a look at her stuff. Trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. Very often when, and what I'm not saying acting on impulse. Acting on impulse is reactive. It's short term. When we act on our feelings, typically those feelings have been with us for a significant amount of time. Okay, so we've been getting this information for like weeks or months, and that's where our gut feeling comes in. So I'm not talking about reacting. I'm talking about reflecting, examining our feelings. Is there something that's consistently you're feeling over a period of time? But just say, do you know what, I can do this. Trust your gut. Trust your gut. Because sometimes when we don't trust our gut and it's been rumbling for a long time, that can actually detract from our confidence. So trust your gut and go with it. And don't let your past dictate your future. Every day is a new day. Every day you've got the opportunity to create the day that you want, even in the current circumstances. There's so much that we can control still. You know, there's so much that we still can do. And the big difference I find with people that are, on the whole, confident, and those that are less confident is how they carry their past. What is the story that you're telling yourself about past setbacks? And learn that struggles can build confidence because we've overcome something. We've done all the things I've talked about. We've had that tenacity. We've picked ourselves up. We've dealt with those feelings and understood, well, what was it about that made me feel like that? We've looked at gratitude. But, you know, see your struggle as part of your success, because I don't know anyone who isn't reaching for something, trying to set a goal, achieve a goal, that isn't having a setback. It's a sign of the fact that you are stretching yourself. You don't want to settle. You want to push forward, and your confidence will come from how you've dealt with your struggles, quite frankly. So make it a part of you. Be proud of it. I mean, I know there's things that were like pretty devastating at the time, but now I look back and go, that's built my confidence because I trusted my gut. I did everything I could. Didn't quite work out the way I did, but you know what, something better came along. So believe you're credible, believe you're wealthy. Wealthy, yes, you can do that. Depends on your definition of wealthy. And worthy. I do need to talk about positive self-talk, affirmations, visualization, meditation. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on those at the moment because I've spoken about those a lot, along with gratitude in the past. If you can listen to some affirmations and sort of say, I'm becoming more confident, I'm taking steps towards my confidence, I move on through anything that's happened in my life, I am learning and developing, I'm growing, I am becoming more confident every day. Whatever phrase feels right to you. I don't want you to say a phrase where you can immediately say, oh no, I don't believe that. Say something that you feel you can believe in now and then build upon it. So really catch your thoughts and flip them round into something that's more empowering. Visualization, taking 10 minutes to just visualize yourself. What would you look like if you're a confident person? And look at meditations online for confidence, guided meditations, or if you start your meditation, just say the word confidence, let it go, let your thoughts go, relax and meditate. So those are also obviously very, very important. Now, I did talk at the beginning about setting a confidence goal, and it is totally possible to do that. Now, we can't just say, my goal is to be more confident, because it's somewhat intangible, and it's not specific enough, because ideally with a goal we need to sort of be able to track and measure it, and measure our level of confidence. So as I said at the beginning, you can use the 1 to 10 scale, and we want to be able to track and measure it. So you could set yourself a task, maybe it's a work task, and say, I am feeling a 1 out of 10 at this task at work. My goal is to feel like a 5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10 by Friday this week. And maybe it's a specific task or activity. So it does need to be specific. So the goal of I want to feel more confident is a bit too abstract. There's no really kind of measurement or objective for it. So we need to make it more specific. It's a bit like my goal is to be happy. My goal is to have a romantic relationship. My goal is to have a good career. My goal is that other people like me. They're a bit too abstract. They're not specific enough. They're dependent on feelings. And as we know, feelings can go a little bit up and down, so they can be somewhat unattainable. But what you can say is, my goal is to attend 2 online events this week and initiate a conversation with one person I don't know at each event. So whatever that area is, if you've done that audit or that quiz I've talked about, have a look at that area, and think, okay, so what is it? Perhaps it's relationships. Okay, my goal is to become more confident in my romantic relationships by joining a dating app and initiating a conversation with one other person that I'm interested in. My goal is on that dating app to ask questions about that other person and have a video call with them, or go on a walk, something like that. Do you know what I mean? Something very specific. My goal is at every meeting I'm going to ask a relevant question. My goal is to build my confidence in my career. If I am not sure of something this week, I'm going to ask 2 questions. Perhaps your goal in confidence is related to fitness. So I want to feel more confident in my health and fitness. And to do that, I'm going to do 2 5K runs this week and measure how fit I feel on an app. Something like that. Do you know what I mean? It could be about food. Have a look at it and think, do you know what? I'm not feeling confident about my body shape. My goal is to feel more confident about my body shape, and to do that, I'm going to follow a sensible eating plan and get to my ideal weight of X by this point in time. Make sure it's realistic. So make sure you have a confidence goal if that's something that would help you. I think it would. And then you can measure it and say, well, I've done it there, so where else could I do it? Because if we say, I want to feel more confident, if we don't take specific actions, it doesn't really help us. So I've covered quite a lot there. I've talked about the fact that confidence is not the same as self-esteem. Self-esteem is very much about how we value ourselves overall, how worthy we feel. Confidence is our own personal belief in our skills and abilities to improve our situation. So they overlap, but they are different, okay? And it does come from childhood sometimes, or sometimes we've let a setback knock us so much that we haven't been able to get back and push ourselves forward. I've given you lots of skills, tips, techniques there about picking yourself up, setting a specific goal, focusing on your favourite attribute, having tenacity and willpower, helping somebody else, attaching yourself to a cause, how you present yourself, dress, your posture, the pitfalls of perfectionism. So quite a lot there for you to have a think about, but let me know how you get on with any of those tips. And don't forget, I have got that confidence quiz. It takes a few minutes. It's yes, no, and get in touch. I'll send you a copy of it, and it will give you a snapshot for where you might be feeling. You might be able to see, well, hang on a minute. Right, I can see where I need to build up this confidence. What goal can I set? Or you can do it yourself, just sort of give yourself a ranking, 1 to 10, 10 being high about how confident you feel at the moment, and then maybe look at different areas of your life and have a look at that number again, okay? So it's just really good information to give you a starting point. So I hope you have a great weekend. I'd love to know if you take on any of these tips. I've got another live. I'm going back to Fridays next week. I was unable to do it on Friday last week, but thank you very much for watching. If there's any questions or you'd like any follow-up, then drop me a direct message. And if there's any particular subjects you want me to cover, then let me know. I am going to be doing, I think more in March, a lot more on confidence, a bit about motivation, a bit about anxiety. I think next week I'm talking about, well, what do I do if I've got a long-term goal? How do I break that down and measure my success because it feels too far away from me? So doing a bit more about goal setting. Anyway, guys, have a lovely weekend. Thank you for watching. Take care. Stay safe, as I say. Bye-bye.